saw the swaying in the breeze. But one so light, anxious, wide awake, fearing all manner of ghouls, hags and wraiths. For your dolly Polly sleep has flown, don't dare let her tremble alone. For the witcher, heartless cold, paid in coin of gold. He comes, he'll go, leave naught behind but heartache and woe. Deep, deep woe.
Give it a couple of seconds for people to join.
That's it. If we have anybody to...
Amy,
Well, you're
you
really...
couldn't hear a word of that.
I says we've got one viewer.
Excellent.
Just one.
One.
Just the one. Oh,
Okay, well, as we have got one viewer,
Let's
we got two.
come join. Come join.
I'm just sharing it out as well.
right, well, welcome to Gifts and Gadgets with me and Amy. We have a lovely bunch of guests tonight, the most we've ever had. We've got Pete, Mel, and Keith.
Hi guys.
Hello.
I'm the shy one.
Honest.
Yeah,
I'm
all
fit
right
one,
then.
apparently. That's Mel.
I was going to say, I think Mel's the most shyest. She's not said
Yeah.
2 words since she's been in
Yeah.
the green room.
I'm
with us.
definitely the most shyest in the group, aren't I?
Oh, bless you, Mel. You're cool. I'll keep quiet tonight, Mel. You can say.
No.
Okay.
How are we all doing?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Good. Yeah, good. Bit
Really
burnt.
good, thanks.
I'm fine.
Really good.
Bit burnt.
You got burnt today,
Right.
mate. Love it.
Right, I've shared it around a little bit. I'll share some more later.
Lovely.
Right. Do you want to start the show, Ness?
Really?
Or do you want to wait a little bit before you ask your question?
I don't want them to know when I'm going to ask it because
Oh, okay.
then I don't want Keith to give me his answer that he said that he's going to give me.
Oh, right.
Okay, then I'll start then.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, then I'm going to start with Keith. What is your
Hello.
first piece of kit owned?
My first piece of kit owned.
Yes.
I think, ironically, it was a couple of cat balls. So, I know. It's developed more now, trust me. But I went to the first ever paranormal investigation. Was with a large group, and they had cat balls and they had all the gear. But the cat balls seemed to just keep going off, and there's no rhyme or reason for it. And I said, "That's incredible! I've never seen that." They said they're only like a couple of quid. So that's like the first thing I did, and then, funnily enough, I tested them at home, and they used to go off at...
Doing fully working order.
Yeah, they'd go off at 3 o'clock in the morning and things like that, and I'd say stop it, and they'd stop. So that was insane. I've built up to a repertoire now of, well, I've got about 3 beauty case stuff.
I thought you were going to say 3 cat balls then.
I've got more than 3 bombs, trust me.
Actually, I've got about 20. The thing was, I kept losing them. You know, I kept losing them. I tried nicking.
He's losing
Pete's,
his balls.
Yeah, I do. I tried nicking Pete's, but he marks them, so I can't.
I do mark them, yeah. You keep your hands off my balls.
I can see what sort of night this is going to be. This is great.
I was going to say, the gutter's long gone.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Right, Mel.
That's my first little kit.
Okay. Mel, what was your first bit of keys? What was your first bit? Yeah, first bit of kit owned.
First bit of Keith. Hang on a minute.
They've just got married.
I think the first bit of kit was probably just like a K2, wasn't it? I think Pete bought me. So yeah, now I share a lot of your stuff, though, don't I?
You do, yeah.
I've got a few bits of my
Absolutely.
phone.
What is his is yours.
Yeah, what's his is mine.
And what's yours is your own.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
very true.
No.
And Pete, what's yours?
Mine was I bought a couple of bits at the same time. I didn't buy a couple of bits of it. I bought a digital recorder, a K2. I think it was a REM pod, wasn't it?
Oh, it might be the little camera.
Oh yeah, the little full spectrum camera.
Yeah.
So yeah, I bought all three at the same time really. And the best out of them would be my digital recorder. Best ever investment I've ever done, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I've got a question.
Oh, cool.
It's not my.
It's not her question.
Is that a time already? Good night.
Okay, I'll go through the same way as Amy just did. So Keith, then Mel, then Pete.
Hello.
What would you say to a new investigator about if they
Okay.
wanted to buy a piece of kit? What would you suggest to them would be the best
What
piece
would I
of kit?
recommend, first of all?
Yeah.
That's quite a difficult one because you can spend loads and loads of money, as we've done on this. I think the best bit of kit really is yourself. You know, you've got your senses. Pen and paper is always good. If you make notes of times you hear things and write things down. Mel's really good at that, bless her. She was doing that Saturday, weren't you, as well? On
Yeah, that's right. Loads of money.
Yeah. I generally, to be honest, I'd probably something like a voice recorder. Not one of these like 500 quid jobs, just a cheaper one really. They all do the same sort of thing. But yeah, I think of all things, I'd recommend not spending too much money to start with. You know, because as you meet new groups and you talk to other people, they always give you advice and guidance as well. Especially from people we've come across, everyone we've come across have been absolutely fantastic, and they'll say to us, "Oh, have you got? You know, I see you've got that, but what about this? This is a different option," and things like that. So you develop it from there, basically. But always yourself is your best, really, because you sense things and you know. You get a feeling, don't you? Yeah.
Certainly do.
It's all good. It's all good.
Mel?
Yeah, so I actually really like the SP7, but I think for a first bit of kit, I would say actually a digital recorder as well. Because we've had so many like EVPs caught on like digital recorders, haven't we? And I think it's one of the most sort of genuine bit of kit you can get sort of good evidence from. So I would say digital recorder.
And Pete?
I would second what Keith said. I would personally say your own ears, your own sight, so your own senses. Also, digital recorder, definitely worth an investment if you're starting out. Definitely is a must-have bit of kit. I think a digital recorder, and obviously the trusty torch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But as Mr. Williams says, if you're a proper paranormal investigator, you don't need a torch.
Yeah, he says that. Yeah.
I go out with my phone and use the torch on my phone. I forget about the torches that I've got in the house.
Yeah. Well, they're just as good, aren't they?
Yeah.
I think, you know. Just coincidentally, I did some audio on Saturday, and I've captured something absolutely phenomenal, which I don't think I'll be able to share on here. But when you hear it, you're going to go, "Oh my God, it's so specific to the question we asked." Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, send it to us.
I will send it.
Or send it to Tina for her evidence show.
Yeah, because there is an evidence show that is on.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Also, I'm always listening, Mark. I'm always listening.
Right.
Bless him.
Have you ever made your own kit, Keith?
I must admit I haven't, because we've got a professional on here with us that does all that. I'll hand you over to
Mel.
Pete.
no.
I wouldn't even know how to start.
I'll hand you over to Pete.
Okay.
He's made.
I-
He's
Okay,
made
then.
me. He's made me night vision recording stuff, infrared stuff, which is highly appreciated, Pete. Thank you. And also, did you make a REM pod the other week?
Yeah.
So yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good at that.
Pete, we
I
need
wouldn't
to.
know what I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know what
Yeah.
to do.
So, I mean, I talk to Mr. Williams even up every day, and we come up with ideas together, and we have a little play around what we can and can't do, and way rounds the stuff that we can do. So yeah, I've converted cameras for night vision. I've done a setup, as Keith said. I've done a setup for Keith, which is like a little handheld camera with the IR light and with the battery pack at the bottom. So it's so light and portable. So it's that's the best part, is you want something that's light and portable and not one of these big massive things where you've got to carry around, and then after about 20 minutes your arms out and you've got to put it down. So yeah, so I've got an SLS camera. I don't really use it a lot anymore, but I've got an SLS camera, and it's tiny. I mean, it's all built compact, just an handle on the bottom, and no wires are hanging out or whatever, and you ain't got these big massive U-shaped hole that you got to hold. So I've done that. Also, I've done a REM pod. Made a REM pod the other day with an IR light. So you can have a REM pod, so something goes over it as well. It lights up the IR light, so it's so all that's built in together.
And it does work.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And it works.
Clever, isn't it?
Okay then. Ness asked what piece of kit would you advise new investigators to have? But I'm going to say, what piece of advice would you give to a new investigator? To Mel first this time.
Just thinking.
To the most quietest one start. with.
I know. Talk about putting you on the spot. I'm sorry.
Fine.
That should have been to me then, the quietest.
I mean, what I've kind of learned, sometimes you just have to completely relax and like sort of open yourself up, let yourself, listen and look at things and just try and just be more open-minded. And just kind of just listen and just be more open, like open yourself up. Can't think of anything else really. I've learned so much though, haven't I?
You have?
I used to be so, when I first started, I was just so scared of like everything. I wouldn't even go into like a dark room by myself, and I'd jump at everything, didn't I? So,
I still jump.
yeah, he jumps.
Go on then, Pete. What piece of advice would you give a new investigator?
I would say just go in open-minded. Don't go in expecting everything to happen. Don't go in expecting miracles. You're going to see something, you're going to hear something, because you don't get that all the time.
No.
So I'd
Most
say
of the time you sit on a cold floor and get piles.
Well, I've never had that. I've sat on a few cold floors, but never had piles. But I would say just go in open-minded. Don't expect you're going to walk into an investigation and see something or hear something, because it's gold when you get something like amazing.
Absolutely.
It really is gold. But also, I'd say don't just go with one team. Explore different teams, because different teams work in different ways. So there's so much you can learn from different teams. I mean, we experienced that when we first started. As I said, everyone works in different ways, and it's great to see how everyone else works and not just one person.
Absolutely. Every day's a learning day. Even I've been investigating for over 20 years and I'm still learning now.
Yeah.
So. And Keith.
Hello. I'll just echo what Pete and Mel said, but additionally, don't be disheartened if you go out and nothing happens. We get that, where, especially it seems to be when we do lives. You get nothing. You get loads of activity when you're setting up. You do a live, nothing happens.
It
So we
goes
say we're going
dead.
to go, and then all of a sudden it kicks off again. You're doing it deliberately. But yeah, try and go into different groups as well. Would be my recommendation, because people have got different ways of working and different ways of capturing information. So it's all good experience that way.
Absolutely.
I was actually going to comment on what Mark said.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Mark, yeah.
I'm not reading it. Well,
Oh, you normally do.
right, trust in yourself and don't be afraid to say if you hear or see anything. I think that's a really good, valid point that Mark's saying, because a lot of the new ones, they do sometimes see or hear something, and then they are too scared to actually say, "Oh, I've just witnessed this."
Yeah.
Whereas then anyone like us that have been doing it for a little bit longer, we could then say, "Okay, well, let's see how this works and see if we can recreate it to see if what they'd seen or heard happens again," sort of thing. Yeah, so with what Mark's saying, it is trust in yourself, because if you know you've heard something, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Tell everyone, yeah.
Definitely. Right, there's lots of expensive ghost hunting gadgets out there, right? How do you separate the toys from the actual useful gadgets?
By playing.
Go with Pete.
Personally, it's hard because a lot of people go out and spend a lot of money on gadgets, a lot of money. But you get a lot of the expensive gadgets work exactly the same way as what the cheap ones do.
Yeah.
To be honest, and there is some people out there what do overcharge.
Yes, they do.
Massively do overcharge, and they do take the mickey over it. But to see personally, I like the SB7.
Yeah.
But then when you get a cheap radio which has been converted, I personally don't touch them. I wouldn't touch them. I'd rather go for the proper stuff and not the toy sort of stuff what people don't muck about with. And so my advice to someone, if you're going to buy a bit of kit, sometimes it's worth paying a little bit of extra, but not massively over the top of what people want to charge.
Absolutely. And Mel.
Oh God.
Stop looking so nervous every time we ask you a question.
You're putting her right on the spot now. Normally she just sits all quiet.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think some we sometimes when you do like the sort of apps, you know, you get these sort of ghost hunting apps, and some of them are quite good, but some of them are quite, you know, crap basically.
Crap.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's kind of trial and error with a lot of equipment. You know, like the SB7 is really good.
I always use the 11.
think-
I do. I quite like
Oh,
the 11.
I got rid of my 11.
Did you?
I wish I didn't.
Well, I built my
Yeah,
own.
then.
I built my own radio. I did.
Yeah.
That sounds
But yeah, it's difficult, isn't it?
I mean, I bought, just sorry, Kate, but I bought I know a guy who does make spirit boxes and stuff, and I bought one recently, and it's a linear sweep, so it's not like a spirit box. It doesn't a linear sweep. It's got an adjustable sweep on it, and it skips through the channels, but it doesn't. You don't have the where you can hear it skipping in between. It's just a constant flow, so you're not getting any breaking of words. It comes through the sentence. So that is, and that wasn't expensive. I mean, I got it quite cheap because obviously I get on well with the guy. But it's if you look around, you can find stuff at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Pete, Mark has put in the chat. How does it go, Pete? Laughing out loud.
Just for you, Mark.
And Keith.
Yeah, I know. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding.
God.
That wasn't even the question.
That's what happened on Saturday on an SC. The guy kept going ding, ding, ding. Okay. So, I was going to just additionally say about apps. In relation to us as a group, we only really use a couple of apps. We've tested some of them, well, a lot of them, and they don't seem to perform. And there's two that we will use and we stand by. And we can't explain how we get such accurate talk back on them, if you want to call it that. Like I said earlier, this audio that I'll put up on the site, it'll blow your mind because it's instantaneous to the question. It's in an American accent, and I just don't get it. We also, if we go to, say we went to Rougham, you get American accents coming through. If you go to, the Elizabethan House in Great Yarmouth or an Elizabethan House, it's English accents, quite posh. I don't, it's amazing. I don't quite understand. And the apps that we use have got the reverse sweep. Everything's random on it. All the banks are random. Everything's so it's minimising the possibility of it being set up, if you like. So, and they're not expensive. Those apps.
I'm testing an app at the moment. It's called the Miracle Box, and it's been made by Steve Off.
Yeah.
We are going through the process of trying to debunk that app.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
I'm just testing it myself.
We as I said, we try out apps, the new ones that come out. We try them out, and then we try and debunk it because we don't want to use an app where it's fake.
Yeah.
So at the minute, we've got a theory about the Miracle Box that we're going to run through, and hopefully it will come back that it is a bit of a dodgy app, really. But as I say, we've got a little bit of a theory about that app.
Yeah.
See,
I'm just testing it myself.
I've got an app on my phone. I can't remember what it's called. It's been that long since I used it. And I swear it's fake. But I find it absolutely comical when I do use it. Because I got one of the words I was sat down a graveyard close to where I live. And it said, imagine walking around with no skin, without any flesh. And I was sat there like, okay. So I went to drive off because I was sat in my car in the car park at this point. As I went to drive off, it went, run away. And I was like, I'm not running away, I'm driving home.
I'm going away.
And it was really weird. But when you ask it a question, it doesn't answer anything. It just comes out with these different words. I'll show you when we go out.
Yeah.
On the 26th. But I swear it is completely fake.
Yeah. We had SP7, we did an SD experiment on Saturday, and the guy sitting in the chair kept going ding ding ding. We randomly asked him, and this is going up on the website, we randomly asked him what was his favourite egg, didn't we? Type of egg. And he went poached. That's pretty random to come out with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we don't quite understand it, but
Love my pendulum rods. Also, Polaroid camera is a lot. I've seen a lot of people use Polaroid cameras, the instant cameras.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people use them. They're supposed to be really good.
Yeah.
I think they're coming back in fashion in the field, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah.
Moving on to our next question, right? And you've kind of guided towards it anyway. What are your thoughts on phone apps?
Try and by all means test them. Don't necessarily pay too much for an app. Some apps are out there like 20 quid a pop.
That Necrophonic one's quite expensive as well, isn't it?
Well, funny enough, Necrophonic's one of the ones that we rate.
Yeah, we use Necrophonic quite a lot, and it's we rate one of the apps we do rate.
But I think it was only about £4, was it, Necrophonic? I can't remember. It wasn't.
I thought it was a bit more expensive than that.
Is it?
If you know the ways and means, you can get it for nothing.
Oh, maybe you should give us, tell us then after the show.
Okay, after the show, not on, while we're on the show.
Only if you've got an Android.
Oh, I forgot iPhone.
There you go. Sorted.
Right. Okay then.
Amy.
What? Yeah.
Just ask a question.
Are you going to ask the question? Go on then.
Is this the question?
Is this the question?
I ain't telling you that. It's a question. Okay, I'm going to start with Pete on this one. Actually, no, I'm going to start with Mel.
Hey!
I'm going to start with a quiet one. Okay, have you got a gift?
I would say no.
What?
No.
It's our anniversary soon. We ain't got a gift.
You go for it. I was doing it seriously. You go for it, Pete.
You want to have one?
That's brilliant. Love it. Love it.
I would say no. But I feel like I have become more sort of sensitive to things. Like when we was in Rotherham on Saturday, like all three, me, Pete, and Keith all heard like a voice, didn't we? So I have. The more I've been doing this, the more like sensitive I'm getting. Like I'm can hear words. I have seen a couple of things in the past. So I don't
get in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It's so naughty, isn't it?
I get what you're saying, Mel, because I'm still learning my abilities and stuff. It takes a while to learn it. You don't just get it overnight, sort of thing.
No.
Right, Pete.
I think the only gift I've got is
Don't forget it's your anniversary soon.
No.
You're going to have to put a ribbon round it and everything.
It'd be a small one, mate.
Anyway, move on. Next question. I think, but I don't know what it is. Call it a gift, call it something else. But it's 9 times out of 10, or 8 times out of 10, we go on an investigation, or we do an SD, or we do calling out. I get my jumper pulled. I get like on Saturday, I had like a burning sensation on the back of my legs, and it's and every time we ask for someone else in the team to get touched or affected, the only one who got affected was Steve on Saturday, but
it's normally you.
It's normally me that get picked on, I think.
Yeah.
By the spirit, so don't know why, whether they don't like me, I don't care. I just I don't
They
care.
look like scaring you, don't they?
Perhaps they like to pick on the thick one. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it happens quite a lot. I do get. I mean, these guys can back to it.
You do get affected.
I do get, quite a lot of that, to be honest.
Even like the time when you actually started crying, didn't you? Randomly one time.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And
yeah.
you it's a cry. So.
I don't do crying. Don't do crying.
Nice, it's weird.
And Keith, have you got a gift?
I don't think I have. No, I genuinely don't think I have. I have, however,
got a really bright head torch.
Everyone's seeing orbs for the rest of the night.
At Hitchin Schools Museum, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was sitting at one of the desks, which is quite difficult for my size, the kids' desks. But I squeezed in, and basically I got told, because I don't remember much about it, but I got told that I was tranced or something like that. So all I remember is somebody coming up to me, and I said, "Who are you? What's going on?" And then I had to leave the room. And well, I was escorted out of the room. And as I said previously, I've been escorted out of many buildings by security, you know. But this was different. This was different.
But this time you went too far. Was in the school, Keith.
Yeah, it was school. and my wife's a teacher. And basically, it was really bizarre because I have no idea what went on, and apparently I just like fell asleep or something. And it's only ever happened once before, and that was at East Drive. But at East Drive, again, I had to be escorted out of a room. But apparently, I got quite aggressive, which is totally out of character for me. And I was saying things that I wouldn't normally say. So I don't know. I personally think no, I haven't. No, but I've had a couple of things experiences, which I call significant experiences, really. Being touched on the shoulder. Pete's been touched on the shoulder a few times, haven't you, Pete? Yeah. Pete seems to, and it's always when we're filming. Pete seems to jump up and shout and sort of shit himself, which is quite funny. Have you got time to tell me about your experience in the showers at the Shepton Mallet prison?
Sorry. I don't think Mr. Mark Williams wants to hear my story again.
Oh, go on.
So basically, we was at Shepton Mallet prison, and we was working with Mark Williams, and Mark says, "But I'm old though. Look, he's Mark Williams come out the shower, went out of the shower rooms, and he said, "Would you fancy coming and join me?" And I was just like, "No, mate, no." And he was like, "Come." Give it a little wink. Come.
Just don't drop the soap.
I'm nearly married, mate. I'm not turning now. No. But no, he come out of the shower room. All serious. He come out of the shower room. He went, "I don't like it in there." He only went in to put a REM pod in there. He said, "I don't like it in there." I said, "It's strange and horrible in there. A bit dark." So me being me, I was like, I'm going in there. Mark looked at me and went, "You're nuts." I went, No. Digital recorder in hand. That's all I had. Went in there, closed the door. Pitch black, called out, and then it's probably one of the best EVPs I've got, really, because they called out just saying, "If it's anyone here, come forward. I don't want to be armed." Obviously, you're in a shower room of a prison, so I'd rather not come out with a ring sting, but it's
spit them right back out.
If anyone's here, just give us a call out and tell us your name and stuff. And it was like I can't remember. It was like a dark voice. It was like, "Don't rah, 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 rah." And I was like, "Oh Jesus!" And I went out and Mark went, "No, listen to that." And Mark was like, "I can't swear." He went, "Jesus Christ!" He said, "No." I was like, "Yeah." And that's probably one of the best EVPs I caught at Shepton Mallet prison. I don't tell that story too often. In a prison shower room with Mr. Mark Williams. I don't say that too often.
And do you know what, right? You should have said no comment on that question.
That's a new question.
I think I got questioned after. Especially by the police.
I thought as much. Well done. Good one.
Right. What sort of gadgets would you like but you can't afford? Go with Keith this time.
Oh, no. I want a Sony ADF 700. 700 quid. Night vision camcorder. I know I keep going on about don't buy expensive equipment, but that's my dream to be able to afford that. It's absolutely stunning. It's used on a lot of shows as well.
Yeah.
So the quality is outstanding. It's outstanding. And what we do is we tend to use, which is just as good, to be honest. We tend to use I forgot what you call them? What you put in your car?
Dash
An air
cam.
freshener.
Depends where you're putting it. Dead body. Oh,
Yeah. But we tend to use dash cams, so we'll leave them set up, and we've got the IR on and everything in various locations, and we put trigger objects down, and we have a camera on that as well. And the quality of that's pretty good. But that's for me. That's what I'm wanting. I also wanted a tri-field meter.
Yeah.
But they're rarer than rocking all shit now. To be honest, it's sorry. Did I swear? Didn't mean to.
That's all right.
Yeah,
You know, worse from me.
No, bless you. So we want the not the LCD one, not the new one. We want the previous one, so the needle.
Yeah.
Because all the people are saying they're more accurate and they're better made.
Yeah.
So that's my two dreams, if you like, to get to that level.
Yeah, absolutely. Mel.
I think because we've got quite a lot of kit
We have.
already. The only thing that I'm now thinking is perhaps just like a Polaroid camera. But we've got
Now
so
you know what
much
to get
kit.
for our anniversary.
There you go.
You had something else on his mind then.
well, they say your first anniversary is paper, so I can get a film for it.
Yeah, just think of what you could take pictures of when you're practicing.
Yeah.
It's fast.
That's just wrong, isn't it?
It is.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
And Pete.
Camera.
I want quite a lot. I know I've got quite a lot of kit already, but I know I've got some junk in my trunk, but it's there is quite a lot of kit that I still want. I want a shadow tracker.
Oh yeah.
You know what you see on
Yeah, I'd
Hell in
like one of them,
when they put it across the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'd love
want a
one
shadow
of them.
tracker, and I'd like to try geopol. I want a proper geopol.
Yeah.
But you are looking about £1,400 to £1,800 for one.
Yeah. I mean that's mad. Yeah.
Yeah. So they are probably the two bits of kit that I'd love to try out. That I'd like.
Okie dokie. Right, indoor and outdoor locations, which ones do you prefer?
Mel.
I prefer indoors.
Especially in the middle of winter.
Yeah, when it's cold, especially indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still cold even in like indoor locations in the winter. You're
Do you
still
know
sat
what,
there
right?
like,
Yeah.
But do you know what? Even in the middle of summer, right, or in the middle of winter, Woodchester Mansion's the only location I've ever been to where you go outside for a warm.
yeah.
Never been there.
Are you not?
No, never been there.
Right.
Pete, indoor or outdoor?
I'd say indoor, but if I'm going to get evidence outdoor, I'm not fussed. I'm really not fussed. I'm a man. Get a little bit cold. But yeah, indoor. There's a lot more indoor locations what there is outdoors, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But either. I'm not fussed, to be honest.
Okay. And Keith.
Yeah. It's definitely indoor preferred from me. Outdoors, there's generally too much pollution. Like
Noise pollution and that, yeah.
wind noise, light.
Well, sometimes you get wind noises inside, especially if you're basking in someone's residual energy.
Yes.
Bit of wind turbine.
Yeah.
Nobody likes brown noise.
No, exactly. But you see these groups doing lives, we're outside of this churchyard doing a live, and you can't hear it because of the wind.
Yeah.
So what was that? They're saying, what was that? They're saying we want anything because it's windy, But,
Absolutely.
Yeah, but indoors for me.
So if you was investigating, would your kit differ from the inside or the outside and the outside location? And what sort of kit would you take for an indoor location? What different kit would you take for an outdoor location, for instance?
Shall I go?
Keith?
Keith.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I wouldn't change anything between indoor and outdoor.
No.
Probably the sound side of it, because what I was saying about wind noise, things like that. I'd probably put one of those moustache things on the microphone, you know,
Yeah.
to cut the wind noise out. But I still use the same cameras, and I still have my cat balls out there. You know, I'm a big fan of the balls.
And Pete.
Yes, I would change my kit. I change my kit for what I use, even indoors in different locations. So depending whether it's indoors or outdoors, it's depends where you're going really. To be honest with you, as I said, I change my kit regularly when I'm going to a different location. Sometimes I take the EMF bears if I'm going to Hitchin School, or if I'm going to somewhere where I know there's going to be known to have children in it. And then sometimes I don't. Sometimes I take my SLS when I know I've caught figures before in a location. Sometimes I don't. So it's whether it's indoors or outdoors depends on the location really for what I take.
Can I
Absolutely.
Can I just explain while I gave a little chuckle then? If I say to Pete and Mel, Ely Car Park and the dolls.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah. We
Now you got to say now.
Yeah.
We was going to an investigation and we was meeting Keith and the rest of the team in a car park in Ely, in Cambridgeshire. And I pulled up in my car, opened my boot to get all my equipment out, and I pulled out one of my
Dolls and
one of my
bears.
haunted dolls. And this guy drove past in his car and his face was an absolute picture. It was just like, what the is that?
Did you see a beauty? Look at that beauty. This bloke shit himself and drove off.
Oh, dear.
Oh, brilliant. What do you guys think is the most overrated piece of kit? We'll go with Mel first.
Oh, I know this. If I can remember what it was called, that is.
No, it's not right and wrong answers, darling.
All right. People, this, what's it called? You know that it was about £400, and it
Oh, the obvious.
obvious, yeah, obvious, whatever it's called. Yeah, and I personally didn't really rate it, and obviously Pete spent a lot of money on it, and I just didn't think it was very genuine, did I?
No, they just told me to sell it.
And you did. You sold it.
But yeah.
It's just my sort of opinion.
Absolutely.
I love the obelisk.
And Pete.
Yeah, one would be the obvious. I didn't. It was very rare I got something gold on that, to be honest. But yeah, and I know a lot of people trust them and stuff. It's the K2. I know a lot of people use them, but if you're going to buy cheap, they're terrible because they can pick up anything. Anything.
You know what? People don't use K2 meters what they've actually intended for these days up, because I only use them for base readings. That's the only time I will use a K2 meter. Like, I don't use them for spirit communication or out like that. Like,
I mean, that could be right, especially if you're doing lives. It picks up a live feed massively. So
absolutely. And Keith.
Hello. Yeah, K2 I was going to say, to be honest. We use the Doppler. We use the Doppler, don't we, and find that much more accurate.
Yeah.
So that's like waves, level waves. It's more accurate. I might be a bit controversial here, but some types of SLS, a little bit dubious about. Not all of them. I think if you're going to use an SLS, put it on a tripod. Don't move about with it. Leave it in one place.
Absolutely.
Because it's constantly tracking or trying to search for. And if you move it about, you know, someone will say, "Oh my God, here you go! I'm tracking something." It's because you moved about and there's a beam or something, you know.
And use it against a plain wall. Don't use it where there's furnishings and stuff. Use it against a plain wall.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely. What kit do you keep in your investigation box, Keith?
Do I keep in? Sorry, what do you mean? Do I not take
Basically,
out?
what do you keep in your box, in your investigation box? What kit do you own, basically?
Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry, I thought you meant what do I take that I never use? You know. Okay.
Well, that is going to be another question.
Oh, okay then. Okay, so I've got the Mighty Cat balls. Big fan of them. Got about 20 of them in there. I've got no, I'm not. I've got a trigger object, which is a cross, about 20 inches by 16 inches. So we draw around that every investigation and put it down. I've got a notepad, pen, and pencil. We've got 4 walkie-talkies I carry about with me.
All at the same time? You talk to yourself?
Well, no one else.
We'll ignore it.
No one else.
Sometimes you just need some expert advice.
Torches. I've got about 4 torches. I've got a head torch with a beam on it that looks like an aeroplane landing light. It lights up Drakelow. It's so strong. It's amazing. You're in the tunnel. You can turn it into daylight. It's beautiful. And basically, I've got a REM pod. I've got audio equipment, recording equipment. I've got dash cams, a tripod. Like this is a desktop tripod. A spirit board. Carry about with me in that. I've then got another case with sort of similar equipment in, and believe it or not, this is going to sound crazy, but I've got a dedicated aluminium case which I carry the planchette in on its own, which is quite cool. Yeah. So I mean, we've got lots of stuff. There's cameras and everything as well.
I think you've been easier just saying what you haven't got in your case.
I'll tell you what I've got and I don't use, if that helps.
Yeah.
I've got 1,000 rods, but never really. I mean, I've used them a couple of times, but not as often as I want to. I want to use them more, but it's never really been the opportunity for where we've been to, in my opinion, to actually use them and get a benefit from it. I'd like to.
Get your rod at any time.
So with my dowsing rods, I always dip the ends in them glow in the dark paint so I can see them in the dark.
Right.
That's what I always do.
Every day's a school day. I'm going to write that down. Cheers. I think I'm joking. Glow in the dark. Excellent.
I'm nodding at Mark.
What's he say?
Yeah, Ness's son's singing.
Oh.
Yeah.
The thing is, if I say to him, everyone on my live can hear you, he'll be like, I don't care.
So, how about you, Mel? Or do I ask you both together? Because do you share
I
each
was
other's
going to
box?
say, I think both of
Do
them
you share
together.
a box?
Yeah, we kind of we got 2 boxes, haven't we?
Yeah,
Two boxes.
I've got 2 boxes and rucksacks and cases, and then we go to an investigation. She goes,
I just like look at
"What can I use?
What can I use
Help
today?
yourself, love. Just take it."
So yeah, we've just got literally everything in stone.
Yeah, I mean, in our little box of tricks, we've got things like EMF bears, SLS camera, cat balls, REM pods, probably about 5 REM pods. We scatter them about. When we investigate, we scatter them around, not just in one spot. And we've got 2 X pods.
Millimeter.
Mel meter. Jesus.
Yeah.
2 SP7s. A linear sweep spirit box. Probably about 3 Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah.
2 portals. I mean, just
About 4 torches. And...
the list goes on. It's just I've got
Yeah.
loads of stuff. I can't really know. I've got loads of stuff here. Oh, is it?
You got something stuck in your ear.
I get feedback from you. I've got earplugs in.
Oh, funny.
So what haven't you got? Or what? Sorry, what have you got but you never use?
Well, mine's a dowsing rods.
Probably my I don't use it anymore. My full spectrum camera.
Oh, I love my full spectrum camera.
I don't really use it much because we do a lot of lives.
Yeah.
It's I mean I should do because on the setup I've got it in the car, but I've got like a setup where it's got me streaming foam on it. Foam? What's a foam? Streaming foam. A streaming foam where it's night vision, and then I've also got like a GoPro night vision built in
Yeah, I've got
on that
GoPro.
rig as well, so it records what we're streaming live. So I don't.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't really use my full spectrum camera.
Yeah. Have you ever used tape recorders? Like, you know, the old-fashioned tape recorders. Do you ever use them on an investigation?
No.
No,
Are they good?
never.
No.
Yourself?
Okay.
Yeah, they're good.
They're okay. You can have a bit of it can be a bit hit and miss, if you know what I mean. Sometimes it can sound dodgy, but sometimes because of like the stone tape theory and that, like sometimes it can be quite good as well. But you have to use a fresh tape every time, and that else you get.
Okay.
So, have you got any questions, Ness?
Keep it clean. Keep it clean.
You don't have to.
I'm doing a Mel.
Yeah.
Oh,
Put me on the spot.
I'll preempt you this. No comment.
There you go. We got it out of you.
No comment.
53 minutes.
Okay. What's your best or favourite piece of evidence?
Oh, that was the question I wanted to ask.
Oh, go on then. Hang on, let me rewind it. Do you want to ask it?
Too late. You've already asked it.
Ask what?
The best bit of evidence that you've got.
Hey.
Hey, no
I'll go
comment.
with Mel first.
Well, for me,
We got quite a few good
For me, we left
EVPs when we went to Harwich, didn't we?
Yeah.
I can't remember what they said.
yeah.
What was it?
I protect you.
Oh yes, that's it. Yeah, we got a voice in one of the little rooms that said, come out and said, I will protect you. And we didn't have any sort of like SB7s or anything like that going on at all. So it was literally just, in the air. So that was pretty good, wasn't it? And then on Saturday in Rotham, we also had a really good, when we was doing a live, me, Keith and Pete.
I'm glad you remembered that.
We all had like a voice, didn't we, saying don't something. We can't make out what it said, but you can hear it on the live as well. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be at the old Nick in Gainsborough.
Yeah.
We've been there a few times, and every time we go, it's great. I mean, the first time we went into one of the cells. I don't know if you guys have ever been to the old Nick in Gainsborough.
It's on my bucket
not
list.
yet.
No, it's a great place. One of my favourites. But as you go downstairs, you've got 2 cells, and we went into this cell, and this is where I broke down in tears for some strange reason. Just out of the blue, bang, just broke down in tears. I had to walk out the cell. But we had I know we don't rate the SLS, but we was like literally in a cell, blank wall, nothing there, and we had this figure come up in the corner, and we had a REM pod on the floor next to where this figure had come up, and we was asking it to touch the REM pod, and you can literally see the figure bending over and touching the REM pod. And every time it was touching the REM pod was going off, and it was coming back. Yeah, and we found out that a female would hung herself in that cell in the corner where we was picking up this figure. So yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. A great place, that.
And Keith.
Yeah. I've left a audio running at Ruffham Tower while we went for a break, and when I reviewed it, there was a 5-way conversation, and it said, "We need a doctor." Somebody says, "What are we going to do with them?" Somebody says, "Kill them," and then somebody says, "Copied," and then they say, "Wait." And that's on. Yeah, I'll send that over to you as well. It's incredible.
Wow.
It's incredible. Also, Redoubt Fort. Something said there's a thief, and we said where, and they said in the cellars, and we said there's no cellars here, and then the response was many cellars here there are, and then in between that you get something like I smell of that. But at the beginning it says nobody will listen to this message, which is quite interesting. And I researched the fort, and it turns out a house, like a stately home or whatever, was knocked down to make room for the fort, and it had many cellars.
Wow.
But we didn't know that. We didn't.
No,
know
we
that.
didn't.
Not at the
No.
time, did we?
No.
I didn't even know that, and I have been there.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. We've got a mission for that place. There should be 2 wells. There's 1 well in the centre, but because of the amount of armament potentially could have been used, there should be 2 wells. So that's our mission, to see where the other well is.
Ah, interesting. You might want to get your dowsing rods for that.
Well, do you know something? I was just thinking that as I said it. Well, great.
Right, we've come right to the very end of the show. Do you want to plug anything before we go?
Yeah, I mean, we have got some exciting news. We're just ready to announce it, so we're going to speak to the person. We've got a new member of our team. So that's going to be announced soon. Fingers crossed. And also, we are, as Ness knows, we are at Tudor World on the 26th of this month.
Oh, I love that location.
Yeah, so we're at Tudor World on the 26th of this month. And I'm quite looking forward to, if you haven't got a ticket yet, there is a couple available, not many, because we're going to keep it to minimum numbers, for Harold Redoubt Fort. Guests are coming, public are going home at 2 o'clock, and a certain amount of people are staying an overnight after a sleepover till 8:30 in the morning. So that's all night at Harold Redoubt Fort.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that.
That'd be amazing.
I can't wait until the Tudor World.
Yeah, can't wait for that.
I'm so excited about coming to that with yous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got one of my best bits of evidence from Tudor World. I did.
I've never been.
Have you never been?
I've been during the day. But I've never done it during the night. And even during the day, because the guy found out we were investigators, me and the person I was with. When
John owns it, don't they?
Yeah, where they let us, it's got the little attic bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
He actually let us go up there, and he's like over the rope and everything, and I was just like, thanks.
Yeah, the copper pyramid in there and that lot as well.
Try an SD. If you go there next time, try an SD in there.
Yeah.
In the little throne downstairs where you sit, where they've got the costumes inside.
Yeah.
Try an SD in that chair.
Yeah, good.
Right, Ness, over to you.
Well, I know I've been really quiet this show. Actually, I've spoken more than what I normally do, so I'll give it that one.
Oh, excellent.
Well, I just want to say really thank you for all 3 of you coming on. It has been an absolutely amazing show. Thank you to everyone in the chat for tuning in. And I'm not sure if there's going to be a Loonies this weekend or not.
I'm working on Friday. No, I'm travelling on Friday, sorry.
Well, I don't know when Looney's going to be back on at the moment. Hopefully it might be this weekend, so we can have some giggles, shits and giggles. But it's 9 o'clock, I can swear. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. It's been absolutely brilliant speaking with you. Not that I've said much.
That's because I don't shut up.
She takes it over for me. I love
I
it.
know. I'm sorry.
Can I just
So
say,
yeah, hopefully we'll
can I
get you
just
on
say
again.
thanks for asking us, you know? Yeah, we'd love to come on again. Thanks for asking us. It's been
You're
a blast.
welcome.
Yes,
It's been
thank you very
funny.
much.
Yeah, thank
It's
you.
been so funny. Yeah.
It
In a
always
nice
is.
way. In a nice way.
So with that, we'll say goodbye, and you three just wait there once we say goodbye.
Don't forget to do
See
your
you
thumb
guys.
waves.
Take
See
care,
ya.
guys.
Bye.
Um,